Hello and welcome to Dude's Comic Book Roundup. I'm Jason, and these are my reviews of the books that didn't make my comics of the week. And so this week we have 5 books for review. However, one book is from last week that I thought I'd share my views on since I really enjoyed it. So without further ado, let's get into those reviews. So first up this week in Dude's Comic Book Roundup, we're going to look at a book that came out last week, which is She-Hulk issue number 1. Initially, I was going to pick this book up because I thought Charles Soule, She-Hulk, good team there. However, I saw a preview for it and all I saw was the art, and it just didn't really tickle my fancy, let's say. So I decided to give the book a miss. However, after seeing a lot of reviews for it, I thought, you know, I'll try it out. It looked quite good. And I ended up buying it, and I had a real hoot reading it. The story itself, everybody's kind of commented on this. She-Hulk has to go, has been fired or quit as a lawyer, and she takes on this case against Tony Stark because she thinks, oh, I can just go and talk to Tony. But she encounters his legal department, which is a real good thing, really good scene. I really like that character, legal, and she then has to go to court for this woman because she can't get to talk to Tony Stark. I enjoyed the story. I thought it had that kind of light tone that a lot of other books that Marvel do really well. While it was a fun book, but there was a kind of a lot of books that like that slightly dark undercurrent, but it's a really fun book, really fun read. I think it really helps that Charles Soule was a lawyer, so he's able to make maybe a lot of the speech and a lot of the way lawyers act seem a lot more authentic. Yeah, the book was just a real hoot, and I really enjoyed it. And after one issue, I'm definitely on board. The only sour note for me was the art, and the art in the main I didn't mind. I've seen the artist Pulido and other things before. I think I've seen him in Hawkeye, and I think I've seen him in Daredevil. And it seems these books that have got that slightly lighter tone, they seem to want to all have a similar art style. So you got your books like your FFs and your Daredevils and your Hawkeyes and your She-Hulks, and they've all got that kind of similar art style. And while I like the art style in the main, one of the problems I had with FF is I didn't like how Mike Aldred drew the She-Hulk. I thought it just didn't look like She-Hulk for me, and this is kind of carried over into this book. And the only problem I had with the art was the way that She-Hulk was drawn. The rest of the art was fine and I could live with it, but I just didn't really like how She-Hulk was drawn, and some of the scenes of her, like with just her face, she looked more like Yoda than the She-Hulk. So yeah, but the thing with the art though is Marvel don't usually keep one artist on a book. They usually have 2 artists who will rotate. So, you know, we may have to put up with Pulido, the way he draws She-Hulk for maybe the one arc, and then somebody else might come on. So, you know, and I felt the writing more than compensated for the art, you know, and it really bugged me strong in the beginning, but I kind of got used to it. And like I say, most of the art was fine. It was just how they drew She-Hulk that really bugged me. However, the story totally carried the book, and I really enjoyed the story. There's a lot of Marvel books right now with these street level kind of characters that I think they could make. You know, you look at the success of Arrow, and he's a street level character, so you don't need that many special effects, which make it work as a TV show. And I think you've got a lot of comic book characters that Marvel have got that you could do a similar job with. And particularly you look at characters like She-Hulk and Daredevil, you've got that whole lawyer element as well, where you can tell stories, you know, really interesting stories there. And I think, yeah, this definitely won't worth looking at a TV show. But as for the comic book itself, I really enjoyed this first issue. Like I said, definitely on board, and I give issue number 1 of She-Hulk 5 stars. So next up we have Ghosted issue number 7 from Image Comics. This is a new book that I've jumped onto. I picked up issue 6 and issue 7 together, as 6 was the beginning of a brand new story, so I figured I'd give it a whirl. It's done by Skybound, which is an imprint of Image, and I like some of the other books they do. They do Clone, and they also do Manifest Destiny. Love both of them books, so I thought, you know what, I'll give Ghosted a whirl. I'd only heard positivity about the book, so yeah, give it a whirl. The gist of the story, we have this character, Jackson Winters, and he usually plans heists and con jobs. That's his deal. But he screwed over this woman in Vegas, and now her granddaughter, who is possessed by a demon, has been kidnapped by these people down in Mexico, who they use possessed women as sex slaves, and people go down to this place and they pay money to have sex with these women who are possessed. So Jackson's told that this woman will stop hunting him for screwing her over if he can go down to Mexico and get her daughter back. So together with his friend, I think his friend's name's Trick, and this other gangster called Skinner, as well as this hired goon, they go down to Mexico this issue to try and facilitate that. The issue itself, while at the moment I don't feel no particular kind of connection with any of the characters, because they all seem really bad people. There's nobody in the book that seems, like they're a good person. Even when you look at books like Constantine, where that character can be a bit of a scumbag at times, you at least know that his heart sometimes in the right place and he wants to do the right thing, but he won't always do it in the right way. In this book, you don't get that sense with none of the characters, so I've not connected with anybody yet. I enjoyed the structure of the story. There's a lot of really nice twists and turns that you just don't see coming, and it keeps you on the edge of your seat throughout. So the story itself, I really enjoyed. The ending was a really great ending, and it really hooked me for the next issue. So I'm definitely going to get issue 8 and see what happens next. I'm hoping as the book goes on, I'll get more into the characters. But at the moment, I've enjoyed these first 2 issues, and in particular 7 that I'm reviewing now. They were good issues, and all in all, I think I'd give issue number 7 of Ghosted 4 stars. So, next up on News Comic Book Roundup, we have Captain America, issue number 17 from Marvel Comics. This was a great improvement from last issue, because I was really disappointed with issue 16. But 17, we go back to the previous issue 15. We get the fallout from that issue, and the story moves on a step. We're introduced to our new villain, Dr. Mindbubble, who he was built, he's they call him Weapon Minus, because he was built to counteract if Captain America or Wolverine or Nuke or any of these super soldiers they created kind of went rogue, that he would be the one who'd shut them down. But it didn't quite work out. We don't quite know the whole story there yet, but he's an interesting character, and I didn't totally feel him yet, but I think the character's promising. I'm looking forward where that's going. There's a brilliant scene between Captain America and Jet Black when they're discussing stuff and ideologies and stuff, and I really like that. I really loved the Shaolin Scientist Squad. I so hope we see them again. There's a fantastic fight scene between them, Captain America and Jet Black, but they just seem like some of the ideas Rick Remender comes out with are just crazy, but they work, and I love his crazy. And the Shaolin Scientist Squad are just part of that crazy, and hopefully we will see them again. I don't know if they've been in the book before, but they are just brilliant. The art is really cool. Nick Klein has a really great style that I'm really enjoying, but I think also the colours from Dean White just really add and enhance that art. All in all, this was a much more improved over the previous issue, and I give Captain America issue number 17 4 stars. So, the penultimate book to be reviewed today is Trilogy of Sin, Pandora, issue number 8. This continues the Forever Evil Trinity storyline, and we kind of kick things off. We get to see the beginning of the last issue from a different angle, which I liked, and that kind of leads us into Pandora's story, as this issue is much more Pandora-centric, and we kind of see how they're going to get out of this. This issue for me was a mixed bag. There was some dialogue at the beginning and at the end that I found a bit confusing, that I didn't quite get it. Elements of the story feel like they're just repeating the last issue of Pandora, and so you get an element of well, we've seen this before. Why did she go backwards? I thought we saw this last issue. So yeah, that did, I felt, hurt the issue. I did like the whole element at the beginning of the book of seeing events from a different angle. I did really like that. The art by Francis Portela is really, really good, and I think deserved a better story. this just continues to be a book that I think I would definitely drop once the Blight story is finished. I'm just not getting this character, and there's nothing in this issue that really enticed me to reconsider that view, and I give Pandora issue number 8 3 stars. So finally this week, the last book to be reviewed is Batman and Two-Face, issue number 28 from DC Comics. And this concludes our Big Burn storyline that's been running for this is the 5th issue of this story. And last issue ended with Two-Face in a bad situation. The gangsters were going to kill him off because they want to kill off all the costumed villains, because the costumed villains have kind of taken over crime in Gotham, and the gangsters want it back. So they're going to take out them one by one. Two-Face is going to be the first, and Batman's valiantly trying to stop him. I've enjoyed this story and I've enjoyed this book, but this issue I found really let down the story as a whole. I didn't like that straight away we get rid of Erin. Erin McKillen has been a big part of this story over the last few issues, and it made no sense why she wouldn't play a big part in the conclusion of this story. Also, there is a shocking conclusion that I didn't like, particularly because yeah, it's a difficult thing to talk about because I don't want to spoil the book for people. But yeah, I think I'll just leave it at I didn't like how they ended a certain character's story in this book. There's a really nice scene between Batman and Two-Face where they have some nice dialogue, but it's done in the middle of them in this of the fire and gangsters shooting at them, and it's just like, I think they could have chosen a better moment to have that conversation, and it didn't quite make sense. Oh yeah, everybody's trying to kill us, but we're going to sit down here and we're going to have a conversation. So I thought that wasn't good. I did think the art, once again by Patrick Gleason, was fantastic. Really loved the art. But yeah, I think there were a lot of elements of this story that let, as a whole, what we've had thus far down. And I would give issue number 28 of Batman and Two-Face 3 stars. So those are my roundup for this week. That's all my books reviewed. If you want to see my books of the week, check out that video as I take my 5 favourite books from this week and review them. Hopefully at some point over the weekend I'll be able to upload, or early this week I'll be able to upload a YCC covers video, as well as a review of the first episode we've had back of Arrow. So those will be up in the week. I've got some Marvel Ultimate graphic novel reviews to do, but unfortunately I don't think I'll be able to do them until the end of next week, probably next weekend. But hopefully, yeah, then we'll get done and get caught up on. But all in all, thank you very much once again for watching this video. If you liked it, please give me the thumbs up, let me know you like what I do. And all that leaves me to say is that I've been Jason. This has been Dude's Comic Book Roundup. Bye for now.